Yo,
Yeah.
guys.
Are we live?
We're live, dude. We're live.
All right.
Brandon,
Lauren?
thanks for having us in your home.
Yeah.
Brian, thanks
Beautiful.
for joining us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's exciting. Yo, God changed our lives.
Definitely.
All of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And He did it while we were together. And He also did it while we were going through hard, difficult things. Yo, when did you think your life was changed?
When did I think my life has changed?
Or were there like maybe indicators along the way that you're like, oh, it's changing for the better?
I think the moment I stepped foot into Teen Challenge, into TC, I think it changed that day.
Really?
Yeah. Most definitely.
What did you feel when you walked in there? Like, what were you thinking?
I didn't honestly know what to think at first. It was totally different from what I expected, that's for sure. You had like this group of guys that just automatically that you've never met before in your entire life, wanting to give you stuff and wanting to talk to you and wanting to be your friend and wanting to get to know you on a personal level, and I had never really experienced anything like that.
Yeah. What a wild experience.
Yeah, for sure.
You feel similar?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure.
And you've seen some other teen challenges, right?
Yeah.
In Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Do you feel like
Pretty
it's the
much.
same?
Yeah, the brotherhood, yeah. Same,
Yeah.
for sure.
Do you think when people find Christ, it's generally the same process, or do you think it's different? Like, do you think we could look at 3 other guys in some other state?
I think it'd be different for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, everyone has their own, you know, coming to Jesus moment, I guess you could say, coming to the Lord moment. You know, it's different for everybody.
Probably Teen Challenge graduates like have
Sure.
like the same kind of like processes and like parts of the program, but like being saved personally was probably different, you know.
Yeah.
Different coming to Jesus moments.
You remember when you were saved?
I wasn't a believer before Teen
Oh,
Challenge
really?
at all. Yeah.
What did you believe about God? Or did you think He was real?
You know, everybody hears about God, but I didn't really believe. I didn't believe in the devil. I didn't believe in anything. I believe we were just created, and I really didn't understand that. You know, we had a creator, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, growing up in my household, there was nothing religious. There was no Bible. There was nothing. So
So it's a culture shock?
it was definitely a culture shock.
Yeah.
Especially you come in the doors and they're like, oh, we got to go to prayer. I mean, like, what's prayer? And then they come to find out I have to spend a half hour on my knees every day. That was like, okay, what do I do for this half hour?
Right.
So, yeah.
Was it hard to learn how to pray?
Yeah.
Or I know it's a practice.
I mean,
I
it
remember
was
that,
something.
yeah.
It was
I remember
something that I had to get used to. You know, how to try to speak to something that I didn't even know who I was speaking to. I guess.
Yeah. What do you think how do you think your prayers sounded in the beginning as opposed to later on? Like for me, I remember just trying to be like, all right, I'm going to go and maybe thank God. So it was like all right, I thank you for this. And then later it would shift to be able to be like, I'm praying for others. And
I mean, honestly, I don't remember what my first prayers were like. Like,
right.
I know in the beginning, it took me a while to actually believe before, you know, well, I was in the program for at least 6 months before it started to finally click that maybe this might be something. You know, I started to see changes in myself and in other people, of course, too.
Yeah.
Like all my brothers around me, you know, like there's something actually to this, I guess.
What were those changes? Like actions towards people, or the way you talked, or the way you thought?
I mean, for me, I didn't see it until I was later on in the program. Like, I didn't have no, like, withdrawals from,
Yeah.
you know, drugs or alcohol, you know what I'm saying? I smoked cigarettes for 35 plus years, and I didn't crave not one cigarette
What?
when I entered there. I didn't realize that till like 3 or 4 months later. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. I don't
Never even thought about it.
want none of this stuff anymore.
Wow. That's pretty cool. And then you started being like, oh, yeah, maybe there is something to this.
Yeah, my attitude started changing, you know, I started to actually talk to people, to open up to people to where I was never like that before. And I'm still kind of like that now, standoffish. I don't like to share a lot.
You share now?
Yeah, this is
That's right.
Yeah, it's hard for me, but
yeah,
it's for God's glory, right?
That's right.
Yeah, not mine.
What about your first service? What was that like? To be in to see people?
I don't know. It's probably awkward. You know, I don't remember the very first one, but you know, you're in there and everybody's praising and they got their hands in the air and it's just like, oh my, what's who are these?
Who are these nut jobs?
Yeah, basically, I don't want to say it like that, but yeah.
I'll say it.
Yeah.
What were you dealing with before? Like just drugs or depression or like? Or you were lost, right?
I was, you know, into prescription paid meds and alcohol, and I think that was just a cover up for something that was deeper in me. And I mean, I think I've always been depressed, and I've always been like self-conscious, and I think I masked that with drugs and alcohol.
Yeah. It's a pretty good insight on what was going on in yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because sometimes I don't know what happened in my own life, you know? Like, I look back and maybe I can try to connect dots, but...
And I suffer from it now because I realize it because I am clean and I am sober, and I realize that I was covering. I can see that now because I still have those underlying problems that are still within me that I still deal with and I still battle with, you know, but I just don't go back to the old ways of coping.
So God's giving you new ways to deal with that stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting. You feel like similar stuff has happened in your life? Like God has replaced bad things with good things?
No, yeah. For sure. Like, I think my deal is kind of like Brandon's, like, with, like, sharing and stuff that I'm dealing with now, sober, that I couldn't deal with then. God's allowed me to open up a little bit more, you know. If I have an issue, like, at work or anything, like, something's... bother me, instead of just holding it in and getting mad one day and quitting, or you know, I'm able to say, okay, hey, this is what's going on, I need to, you know. And there's been some issues that's happened the last year or two that I've just got out of my comfort, you know, like my shell, and said, hey, this needs to change, you know, and it worked out for the better, you know. Yeah. And then I was just I've always hated confrontation. Like when I was a kid, I didn't even like to go in to pay for gas. Like my mom would give me money to go run in to pay for gas. I just hated talking to anybody, ordering food on the phone. I don't like to. Really? I still deal with that.
And I deal with that too. And I didn't want to say anything, like, and it's a fear problem. And, And I deal with that. I struggle with that really bad. And I really didn't want to say anything because. You know, I don't want people out there to know that, you know, I do fear these things.
Yeah.
But
no, that's still something I struggle with. But God's let me see it. I gotta work on it, especially if I want to be further in life. You gotta deal with it, you know.
Yeah. Do you think it helps hearing others go through similar stuff? Like it makes it easier?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I love to listen to testimony and other people's, you know, how they overcame and stuff like that, because it is very encouraging to hear other people's stories.
Yeah.
We're not the only main character, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of crazy that we all, like, in our heads, like, doesn't it feel like we're, like, the main character of life? But really, it's just, like, we're all in this, like, together, you know?
You know what I think, though, about that is that once that like thing is tuned in the right way, the healthy way, the God way, like I think it enables like maybe a personal relationship with God, like to really expand.
Yeah.
Because you do something in us, we feel like we're the center of the universe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously not that way, but maybe that's like a healthy.
Wonder like that if that's like some sort of like way like God's love for us too though. Like we're
Yeah.
that special. Like not like meaning that we're poor, you know, but just that's what God looks at us like.
Yeah.
Even though He does that with everybody, but like that's a personal.
And if you don't have
connection.
God, yeah, it's like the missing link, and suddenly, like you still feel the same way.
Yeah.
You feel special, but not in a healthy way.
Not in a healthy way, yeah.
Whoa.
So, yeah.
That's interesting. Dude, yeah, you said something about hearing people overcome and stuff like that. It made me think of moments of breakthrough that I've had.
Yeah.
Where, like, it seemed like I was still struggling with this, and then maybe God was able to push me through and get me over.
Yeah.
Do you remember any moments of breakthrough that happened in your life?
I just think it was through prayer. I think, honestly, those times that I spent on my knees in that motel room,
Yeah.
where I first learned how to pray, I started to see breakthrough, because I used to ask God to, like, you know, like, I used to ask Him, like, you need to really show me that you're real, you know, for me to believe, you know, you need to make something so, you know, powerful in my life to make me believe that this is real, and that's what I needed,
Yeah.
you know. And then He started to show me in these little ways, and then these little ways got bigger and bigger throughout, you know, and I started to see Him in everything that I looked at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you see Him, you can't unsee Him. And then you start to see patterns like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pastor Jesse, I just talked to him.
Mm-hmm.
He was from a church, I forget where, Church Keeler. But he was talking about God pointing something out to you. Like the goodness of God, that once you see it, you'll see it in other ways too.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
So what's life been like since you left there and still with a relationship with God, but not in the same setting?
It hasn't been easy, that's for sure, you know, coming from TC, transitioning, especially during that time. It was COVID was just happening, and
Yeah.
lockdown was still going on when I got out, so everything was totally different. You know, churches weren't even open at the time when I got out, so I couldn't do the things that I was taught. You know, we were taught in there, you know, to find a church and to get plugged in and you know, and all that, and be active and contribute, but it wasn't that way when I got out, so it was kind of hard, but
No, we helped each other on that one.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, that was meant for that. I think that was nice.
You guys live together.
Yeah.
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 Man, that's something. I'm living with you right now, Brian. It's crazy to see that people of God opening up themselves and their homes and their resources for others.
Yeah.
Is that something you ever anticipated, that people would be there for you? Like, I feel like maybe we've been let down by certain people, so to have other people...
Yeah, like a genuine feeling. Like, I always had a problem, like, accepting like that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know, like, I've been burnt a lot too, you know?
A little skeptical.
Yeah, and so, like, are they really wanting to help me? You know what I mean? But I feel like when I came up here, like, just meeting the people I've met and God, it's just you can tell it's a God thing, because there was no shadiness, you know? They meant it from their heart and wanted to help and actually cared, so...
So do you feel like that when people have been there for you in that way, it almost teaches you how to do that for other people?
For sure. The genuine care for people, yeah.
And that's what discipleship is too. Like in Christ, that we learn from God how to, follow Him. But in a way, then we teach others how to do that same thing.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're called to do.
Yeah.
To not only be disciples of God, but also to disciple others.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's true. What would discipling be like to you? Like, how would you describe what that is?
No, I mean, just by sharing the word with somebody, you know, letting somebody know that there is a better way, that there is a God that loves you. You know, that just by just talking to somebody, basically, trying to share the word with them.
Yeah. You feel like God has given you a hope for the future?
He's given me a better hope than what I had in my past.
Yeah.
Definitely.
which for me was none too.
Exactly. I don't think we all had anything good going for us.
Right. And now we sit here today.
Yeah, who would have thought, huh?
Yeah.
Different. Come
Yeah,
on.
It's cool.
It is wild to look back on and see the things that we've gone through and how far we've come. And maybe that's a good reminder to have, because we still go through tough times, that we're not where we used to be. And God has already brought us so far. Yeah, I always remember being reminded. I feel like people always said, like, God didn't bring you this far to let you go, like leave you stranded.
Yeah,
Are there
sure.
Are there things in your life that you look back on and say, wow, God was directing and guiding me and I didn't even believe in him?
Oh, there's probably 100 instances that I could see that God pulled me out of that I should have never been into, and probably would have ended totally different if it wasn't for him.
Yeah, what about you?
Oh, yeah.
Similar stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, you look back and see, like, it's almost like you see those same patterns.
Yeah, I should have never made it out of there,
You shouldn't even be here.
But there's also those situations that he really just literally spanks you to and puts you in that situation to make you see that, you better change your ways, and this is how I'm showing you.
This is where this leads.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to put that. What about hanging out with guys now? Like, how you think it's different than what we used to do? Like, just the way of friendships and how you would talk to your friends. Do you think that stuff changed? Or?
Oh, definitely. Like, I don't swear at all anymore. I'm not a cusser. You won't hear. And anybody that truly knows me knows that, they know, he doesn't cuss, and I don't talk foul. I don't talk about women. None of that stuff comes out of my mouth.
Yeah. And that's a contrast to what it used to be.
Yeah.
It used to be foul mouth.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Brian, you were a foul mouth man?
Yeah.
Yeah, God changes the way we speak too.
Yeah, definitely.
Were there people that you looked up to along the way? Like pastors or I remember RJ, he was like a younger guy that I felt like he was leading men, dude, and that was something cool to look up to.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there were guys like that?
Yeah, I always looked up to Pastor Bill and his, story and where he came from, and just the pastors at TC, Pastor Sam and Pastor Dave, all those guys. Pastor McLean, I looked up to all of those.
Yeah. Yeah, we went through classroom stuff, like school learning type thing, biblical things. Were there anything that you learned maybe about the Bible or through those classes that maybe helped you, or like?
It was, we took that one class, Christian Family or something like that. I think that helped out a lot to show you how to live as a Christian. And I think I benefited from that class. It kind of showed me how to live differently than what I was used to, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Yeah, in the beginning it's like a fish out of water,
It's definitely a fish out of water.
Everything seems so new and so uncomfortable, and it's like growing pains,
Mm-hmm.
It was.
Being stretched and put in uncomfortable
cutting those
positions.
dead limbs off, yeah.
Yeah. What's it called, being pruned or something?
Pruned, yeah. Or, pruning.
Who says that? There's a...
Cutting the dead
Who is the guy that wrote The Cross and the Switchblade?
David Wilkerson.
So I listened to some of his sermons, and he always says, laying the axe to the root. So you're putting the axe to that root cause and just chopping it off, he says. Yeah.
Laying the axe to the root.
Yeah. That's
a good way to put that. So you listen to sermons and stuff?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. So you're still feeding on God's word?
Yeah, because I try to... It's hard living in the world today and not let the world in, you know what I'm saying? So when you're in a situation where you're able to listen to whatever you want for 8 hours a day at work, you gotta kind of discern what you're gonna listen to. So, to listening to sermons and listening to this podcast is a great way to just, to shut the world out.
Yeah, it does help.
It does.
Have there been moments where you maybe turned something on and then like you were like, dang, I shouldn't even be listening to
Oh
this?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, me too. I do that stuff.
You get that conviction instantly, like oh, I shouldn't listen to this, or
Yeah.
Music.
yeah. And even podcasts. There's some.
Rogan.
Yeah.
I don't think Joe Rogan is really that bad.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Because I listen to some of his stuff, but it's more of the informational side. You know.
Yeah, I like the scientists and stuff.
Yes,
that's on there.
that's what, and the AI stuff. I'll listen to that.
Start talking about the DMT and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, where do you think AI fits in with our Christian walk? And
I don't really think it fits in at all. Honestly,
think
I don't
that-
think it has a place.
okay, I see what you're saying. Sometimes I think that's like, they've said, so I've heard Joe Rogan say that it's like summoning the demon, but from a Christian, it's like I genuinely see what he's saying. Like,
Yeah.
it's because we're almost leaning on this thing, this like intelligence
Yeah.
to
Artificial.
answer our questions, to like guide us. Like that's exactly what we do for Christ. But you're filling in this like computer generated like artificial thing.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's definitely part of.
It's like humans that trying to be God and make something that's smarter than what humans are.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a
Yeah.
big deception, is that people will think that we gave birth to God.
Mm-hmm.
Because this AI grows and it becomes this like, people say like a godlike thing, but that's the whole deception. It's like God gave birth to us
Yeah.
and gave us
Yeah.
life. Like we didn't birth some God. Like we couldn't create.
Right.
We couldn't create a
Yeah.
human.
No,
Yeah.
that's wild.
Yeah.
I think it is interconnected. It's tough dealing with stuff like this, aliens, things that come up. Like as a Christian, you know, you do have to be really close to the Word. You said that earlier. You were talking about staying close to the Word,
Yeah.
especially in these last days.
So we're not deceived, you know.
Yeah.
So we know what the word says.
Man. What do you think we have to be protected against?
The enemy, basically.
Yeah.
You know, he is the ultimate enemy that we face, and the word is our protector.
Spirit of doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spirit
Yeah.
of doubt. Spirit of fear.
Yeah.
Deception.
Deception. Yeah.
What do you think sin does to us as believers?
What does sin do?
Yeah.
Like it kind of withers us a little bit.
Try to
Yeah.
hinder us,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And like, it chinks in our armor, you know?
Yeah.
And like, I found myself like, okay, say you feel like you're prayed up, you're read up, you're all this stuff, and then you come across like a, maybe conflict, and I've seen the way I've acted better when I am like closely with God, but I've seen the way that I've like fallen too, or like when I'm
Yeah.
not. So it's like an honest contrast. It's tough to think that we could somehow have an impact on that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like God leaves it up to us.
Yeah.
Like I know He's there to protect and help and save us. And
But
guide
we
us.
still got to put in that effort and
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah, you got kids?
Of course. You know I got kids.
That's right.
Yeah.
What do you think you think their lives have been changed by God through you? Like,
I think in ways, yeah.
yeah.
I'll hear, you know, some of my kids start, you know, be in the car and Christian music will be playing and they'll be like, oh, turn that song up, I love that song. Or before they would never be like, you know, I
Yeah.
like that song.
Yeah, it opens them up to a better life.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's something I never thought that I could impact other people. That's kind of a cool thing. Or like if I did, I didn't think it'd be in a way of like helping their life, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I feel like God does that for us, or gives us purpose.
Yeah, we have to lead, you know, in some way.
That's true. We do have to lead.
Especially as a parent, you have to teach your kids right from wrong, and to bring them up, you know, in a Christian home is probably the best way, I would believe.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a a lot of outside stuff maybe coming at kids
These days it's just terrible.
It's interesting. There's stuff going on in Israel.
Yeah.
What do you think of that stuff? Brian, I feel like you know.
Yeah, it's just more of the, I feel like prophecy is going to start being fulfilled pretty soon, you know. Yeah, pray for Israel. Yeah, it's a sad deal.
Yeah. What is it?
I said definitely pray for Israel.
Yeah, sad deal. Hopefully those hostages are able to go back, you know, to their families and not be murdered. And yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, what do you think it will be like when Christ returns?
A lot of jaws be hitting the floor, I'll tell you that.
You think we'll see it? Okay, so I know that everyone will see it, but how is that possible, you know? I think about that sometimes, like...
To actually see it?
Like so will the sky be...
I think a lot of it too now is...
I don't think it will see anything.
Electronically, like TVs, and people are able to see everything over the world, so like if something happens like that, he shows up and everybody's seeing it.
Oh.
You know?
So the unbelievers will be able to see it,
yeah,
but the
believers were already casted.
Won't see nothing.
We're in the sky with them. So all the unbelievers are seeing everything on the news or seeing everything on their phones, and they're like, "Wow, what?
Yeah,
is this aliens or what is this?" They're not. There's going to be all kinds of conspiracy about it.
Yeah.
I like to think about that stuff. One day I thought it'd be cool if it was like, how do I even explain it? So Earth, right? And then I could see like the kingdom of heaven sweeping over Earth, and like literally it would light up the streets. Like everything we looked at would look like it was like amazing, right?
Yeah.
Translucent. Like the glory of God is literally all around. But I think so that what could happen comes in like a cloud, right?
Yeah.
And then we leave with it, and then that cloud is gone, the kingdom's gone, and suddenly unbelievers are left like, we just had the best thing ever. Like there was obviously nothing better in life than this, and then you have to realize like that's gone.
No, I didn't make it.
Yeah,
I was left behind.
Yeah, that'd be wild.
That'd be wild.
Then, as one of those people that was left behind, how do you react at that? Like, how do you?
Yeah, how do you justify what's happened?
Yeah.
I'm glad that we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see like I always thought that maybe hell is the knowledge of God. You understand exactly what you missed out on, and like that is like a hell.
And then no hope.
Yeah, because you know it's gone. You know I missed it.
You're never getting out of there.
And that's why I think if you were a believer and you missed it, then you knew, it makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Because you knew exactly what should have happened or where you should have gone.
And now you're being tortured, and there's no hope
for eternity, forever.
There's no God. Yeah. There's no God.
And I don't even think it'd have to be tortured like some guy like poking you with an. It would be torture of like, wow, salvation's gone. You know, like life is gone.
Do you think, like in like hell, like is it, you know, how everybody says that demons are there torturing you and stuff, but like, I think it's like you're alone and you're like you realize that you missed out, and then the absence of God, because the devil and the demons are getting tortured as well because it's made for them.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I don't think they're in any position of power.
No, I don't think they're in it. Yeah, I never understood that when people say they've had dreams and stuff and they're being tortured by demons. Everybody's being. I mean, it's hell. You know, I don't think they have any power. Devil's not down there on the throne. You know.
Yeah.
I think it's he's meant to. That's made for him and his fallen angels.
If anything, he's going to be the one being tortured the most.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think people, when they have some sort of a dream or vision of hell or something like, we know when we have something like God given.
Mm-hmm.
It's different than me having a thought. Like I've had maybe say a vision that just seems to show up in fullness, and it's like what do you think is happening on the other? Do you think the devil or like somehow this wisdom is getting in that's will be misleading or?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think he tries to intervene. I don't know if he knows what you're having or what,
Yeah.
but maybe he tries to give you thoughts that you think, okay, is it a good thing or is it a God thing, So,
Yeah.
devil can throw good things at you, but are they God things?
That's a good way to discern, yeah.
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 A good thing or a God thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, lately more I've been thinking about, I guess, Christ returning in a way of like excitement.
Do you think that's because of what's happening in Israel that you think more of that, more of like end time prophecy?
I've thought about that. I'm not sure if it's because of actions or something in our hearts are changing.
It could be something stirring in your heart.
Yeah, and like it's causing us to like think in certain ways, but yeah, maybe they're like connected, but also like a part of it.
Yeah.
Like when the seasons change, leaves will fall off a tree.
Yeah.
One doesn't
It's not
cause
like,
the other.
yeah. It's almost like the parable of the fig tree,
Yeah.
kind of.
The parable of the fig tree. That's
When the seasons change,
Yeah.
you know that something's going to happen. You know that change is coming.
Dang, dude. Yeah, maybe we sense that somewhere in
Yeah.
our souls
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
change is coming. That'd be wild. What about worship? Have you ever had any cool moments of worship where God seems to impress something on your heart or like touch you in a way that...
I've had some crazy times I think have happened to me, especially in TC,
Yeah.
I remember just during worship times, there was a couple certain, actual instances where, and it was Pastor Bill, and like I always, like later on in the program when I became a junior, I could pick anywhere I wanted to sit, or and I always chose the very back, and you would have Pastor Bill up there just worshiping his heart out, and I literally could feel it in me. Every being in me just wanted to just break out and scream and tell him to stop, because I literally thought it was gonna kill me. I'm like, just stop.
These prayers and worship?
But I had my hands up in the air and tears are coming out of my eyes, and it was very intense.
Whoa. So you felt like a spiritual battle going on while you're...
I don't know if it could have been a spiritual battle, but it was definitely more of a praise thing than it was a battle, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been cool experiences.
Like a worship moment, just something that was like personal, kind of like between you and God, but Pastor Bill was just, was portraying through him, I think.
Yeah. Dude, I've had these experiences. More so late too, now that I'm talking to different people about God and things, like in doing this, that so I'll talk to someone, right? And they're usually someone who's been following God for maybe a long time, and they know the word really well. And it's like they can almost like God has given them a gift, like how to wield the Bible. Like, and you can see they use it as maybe like a tool. And it's just a feeling that like so much more is out there. It's been a really cool thing. But it's like almost that the Bible becomes a weapon to build you up into but it's just a crazy experience. Have you ever had someone who has like a complete knowledge of the word maybe share something with you or speak over you, or like anything like that ever happen?
I mean, there's been some people like that I've met through church and stuff like that are pretty Bible knowledgeable, and that's, speak good things over you, but...
Yeah, I guess I've just had these moments that they're like moments of wonder, maybe, and awe, that like, whoa, something really above my understanding is happening, and something like, something amazing. It just makes me feel like I'm kind of small compared to life and God and like His plan.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a cool thing. Yeah, God gives us cool moments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most definitely.
To look back and reflect on. What would you share with someone going through maybe some of the issues that you've gone through? What bit of advice or If you had something you could say.
Just don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. It's not worth it. You know. You might think it's worth it, and it's easier at that time, but it's just making things worse, and it's just so much harder in the end.
Yeah. You talked about conviction, and what's that like to maybe be on a path to do something maybe you shouldn't, and what do those checks feel like? And
I mean, it's just like you know, like it's like something poking at you, like you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do that, you know, you know, and it's, you know you shouldn't do it, and you know you really want to do it, but what, you know, if you do, you know that you're going to go down a path that's just going to lead to nothing good.
Yeah. Do you think you had it before? Like, I know we know right from wrong. Like, do you feel like you've had that conviction your whole life, or like?
I mean, I think I've had it in me, but I don't think it really mattered. I don't think I really cared.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't really care about consequences or, you know, things that I would do. It didn't matter because I just didn't care.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're in these, like, moments of survival and, like, it doesn't seem like anything else matters, you know?
Yeah.
But God.
Now, but God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we heard that a lot, but God.
Yeah, I think I had a shirt that said that in DC.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. But God. Is there a verse you like?
There's probably multiple, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Anything that helps you through, or that has helped you through a hard time?
Like, I think it changes maybe from what you're going through at the moment. Right now, I think it's a victory verse, so I know at time victory was really bad, but, you know, it was horrible on us, you know, to learn all these verses, but in the end, and realizing, you know, what it taught us, you know, is so much more now, because I can look back on these verses and reflect on them and actually pray over them. So, and we kind of talked about fear earlier and how we deal with fear. So, and I think it's Psalm 27, I'm not sure, it says the Lord is my light and my salvation, of whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life, of whom shall I be afraid? Ooh! So, I find myself meditating on that and praying over that. You know, I like to add scripture into my prayer, because sometimes you kind of get, stuck, you know what I'm saying? And you don't know what to pray about. So if you start to, you know, meditate over different scriptures, I think it helps get that kickstart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. How'd you learn that?
How did I learn it?
Yeah,
maybe all that time I spent on my knees, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we learn to pray scripture.
Yeah. I think we had this little prayer wheel. Remember that? It was like a chart, and it had a lot of this certain time. You have a certain amount of time to pray for this, and a certain amount of time to pray for this, and then it ended up being like a full hour of prayer in the end, or something like that.
Yeah, there's just guidelines to help us kind of figure out how. What's going on? So you're praying scripture and prayer. What are you thankful? Do you thank God for specific things, or I'm trying to think of my prayer and what I say, and
I thank him for my kids, you know, and stuff like that every day, you know, general stuff. I'm thankful for, you know, my sobriety and stuff like that. And I feel like it's a big deal to be thankful for something like that, for being clean, or because it's just like you're almost claiming it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you're claiming that sobriety, you're claiming, you know, that deliverance from drugs and alcohol, I believe, and that's what helps me kind of get through. If and I don't really struggle over it anymore, because I've been clean for quite a while now, and it does get easier. It really does, and but I think it helps to actually speak it and to actually claim it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Sometimes I think it's with drugs and stuff, that it's like breaking up with an ex. You know, in the beginning, you like, that's all you can think about. And like, you remember all these good times that you had, and like, oh, I felt real good. And then once you like, maybe get back together and you remember, like, dang, like there was a reason I...
No crystal.
No.
Crystal. Yeah, but then eventually, like, you don't think about it anymore.
Right.
And life goes on.
Yep, and it does. It gets easier. It gets better.
Yeah. Did you ever share your testimony?
Only every week.
Woo!
You know what I'm saying? I was on a rally team.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah.
You have some powerful experiences?
Like, in the beginning, I don't really... Like, I didn't know... Like, I was thrown on a rally team just for real, like, early, and I didn't even know what a testimony was. And I remember I was on RJ's rally team, and I'm sitting in the back of the van, and we're on our way to some church or whatever, and he's like, yeah, we're going to eat good, you know, we're going to get good. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then we get halfway there, and he's like, do you know what you're going to say? And I said... What do you mean? What am I going to say? He's like, yeah, you got to get up there and speak in front of the church. I'm like...
Yeah.
It felt like I was going to court or something, you know what I'm saying? That feeling, like I was like, oh no, you know, but it only got easier, you know what I'm saying? It was every week, sometimes twice.
Yeah.
On a Sunday, you'd go from Cadillac to Grand Rapids in one day. Yeah.
Dang. Was he messing with you? Like
what about having
so
to
you
speak?
know what you're gonna say?
No, he wasn't. He was serious. Like that was literally like that was the first time I had ever said anything in front of anybody. Got in front of people and spoke. So
yeah,
and he threw me out there first, right off the rip, and he's like, oh, "Here we go."
Dude, when you say that, it reminds me. I remember my first one too.
Yeah.
I was so nervous. I just remember being really sweaty. I'm always really sweaty, anyways.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have much to say. Just that I was thankful, maybe. It's cool to be used by God.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool to see what sharing your testimony does in person.
To others, yeah.
Yeah, because you see that, it builds their faith, and it builds our faith. And, yeah, it's cool to be an encouragement, maybe.
And it was, and I never knew what really helped. But there was this one, and I'll just share it real quick. There was this one time, and I can't remember where it was at. It was, I don't know, it was somewhere far away. But when I got there, there was a pregnant girl that had locked eyes on me, like, and I didn't know why. I was like almost freaked out about it. But after I got up and told my testimony and my story, she came up to me, just tears bawling in her eyes, and she said, I felt like I needed to be... This was the first time she had ever been in this church, and she had said, I felt like something was calling me, or someone was calling me, and she said, I believe it was you and your story.
Whoa.
She said, you totally changed my... encouraged me, and, and I feel so much better that day, and I was like, all right, thank you. Thank you, God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I wonder... Yeah, it's like God prepares their hearts to hear what you have to say.
And I think that was all... according to his plan, that was his plan, and he knew that she was going to be there, and he knew that I was going to be there speaking. Kind of brought us together, and in a way that we didn't even know.
Yeah, you had no idea.
No clue.
Yeah, what cool moments.
Mm-hmm.
Cool gifts from God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been maybe my prayer over this. Like, God would prepare other people's hearts to hear everyone's message, and I think he's doing that. I think that's happening in our country, in the world. I think literally the hearts of people are being prepared for God.
Yeah.
And I think that's maybe that's happened since the beginning of time too. Like, and it's a process of like, dude, I think we're made to meet God, all of us.
Well, of course, yeah.
And I think
someday.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like, that's it. Like, that's our purpose. Like,
that's our end game goal.
Yeah. And I think maybe it takes time, like a baby. Like, say they were destined for something when they're older, and like they still have to grow up and go through stuff and be taught. But like, they'll be an adult. That's what they'll be if they make it.
Yeah.
And I think that's us. It's like we'll be one with Christ. We'll be with God if we make it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And we'll make it.
Yeah, we'll make it.
We're making it.
Yeah. Yeah, have you ever had a thought, maybe, sometimes I get scared, or like, maybe it's just like eye-opening that I came so close to death. Like, you almost feel like it's scary, like the safety rug has been gone.
Yeah.
You felt like that?
I've had those moments.
Yeah.
I tend not to share those. It's just, it's such a part of my life that I try to forget, that you kind of just, I was that way in the past and I'm not that way anymore. And even though it was a part of me and it probably defined who I am right now, I feel like our past does define who we are as a person today. But we just, I tend just to like sweep that under the rug because that's not who I am anymore.
Yeah, praise God.
I really hate that phrase, like once an addict, always an addict. And you still find these people out here today that, like, if you tell them your story, they look at you a little different. Like,
it's like they're speaking death over you.
Like, should we trust this kid? Or should we, even be associated with this kid? They don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, have you ever felt that it's time to move on from your testimony? That, like, I've had this thought of, like, I went to a new church and I didn't tell anyone about my past. In a way, I wondered if maybe I should have, or, like, have you ever felt like that?
I think it changes. Like, I think it changes from, and I have had these thoughts, that it changes from, like, who you were and how you were brought up to who you are now and who you are in Christ now. So I feel like that testimony about who you are now is greater than the testimony than who you were before, in a kind of sense. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, in a sense, you are moving on.
But do you feel like you need that contrast in a way? Like, you only know how good you are because how bad you were.
I think you could hit on it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I was this person, but really I'm not anymore. But this is what God's doing in my life now. You know what I'm saying? And emphasize on that. Maybe.
What is God doing in your life now?
Now?
Yeah. It's a hard question, though.
It is a really hard question. I struggle with a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I think, I struggle with fear and I'm really self-conscious sometimes about my weight and how I look and how I portray myself to certain people or some people, you know what I'm saying? But I think God is helping me work through that, I think, now more than ever, because I'm starting to open up more now, and I'm starting to see that. Because, in the past, like, you started this podcast how long ago, and you asked me how long ago, and over and over and over again, and I always said no. Like, there's no way I'm going to do something like this, but here I am right now,
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Praise God. Yeah, He gives us the strength to do this stuff, to step out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Out of our comfort zone. And I think that vulnerability really helps people, and I think they see it and they sense it and they know it, and is the thing that maybe enables them to receive.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they know that from you, and they know it's not easy.
It's definitely not easy.
So to hear is very impactful. So, I appreciate you sharing, but I know other people will be blessed by it. Yeah, I'm positive.
Yeah.
So
do you have any verses that
Let's see, okay.
that you are your favorites or that you rely on?
That is a tough question to just answer off the top of the dome. Yeah, oh my gosh. I have my favorite verse, which I quoted before. It's be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer.
Yeah.
I think that says a lot without saying a lot. I like that. But I really love Proverbs.
Yeah.
To me, like, something about it is, I think there's real wisdom that can be gained through those books, and that. So I don't have a specific verse maybe I could share with you right now.
Do you feel as though it changes from time to time? Like you always think you kind of have one that you more think about, more one day than you do the next, or like does it change from time to time for you?
Yeah, sometimes they hit a little different.
Yeah.
You know, one day I'll see one and it'll be like, that's what I needed that day.
Yeah.
And I would have never known that I needed that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it maybe helps lift me up and encourage me. But yeah, it definitely changes.
Yeah.
It does change.
How about you, Brian?
Yeah. I liked Jeremiah 33:3, where it's calling to me and I can show you great and hidden things. I don't know if that's kind of paraphrased, but that was on the sign when we go into leaving the office, going down the hallway, the big painting. Going down the 3 steps.
Oh, the one where you used a little touch.
Yeah, that was the Jeremiah 33:3. Yeah, and I always see 333 all the time. So like,
I'm the same thing with threes. Like threes always get me. Like everything. If I see threes, it's always I feel. If I see 3 in any pattern, like 333 or 33 or just 3, sometimes I feel it's like God just poking me.
Yeah,
that's how I feel. So every time I see that, I thank him. You know, like thank you.
Yeah.
Just a quick.
He talks in numbers for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it must be. It's like some part of our nature, or the numbers. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We seem so connected with that stuff.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yo, he'll show you what is the hidden...
great and hidden things. Yeah.
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 How true is that? It's crazy to.
If we're faithful, he will show us, right?
Yeah. That's the thing is sometimes I'll stumble upon something with God in my relationship with God that it feels like you found the hidden thing. And you're like, you just feel like you found what you're looking for. You don't, like, I don't know, it's like, it's trying to describe value in like gold.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what makes that valuable, but I know it's valuable.
Yeah.
And like I can't describe every intricate thing of the Bible. I couldn't tell you doctrine, but I know it's life.
Yeah, exactly.
I know it's real.
Mm-hmm.
That says, "Call to me, and I will answer you and show you great and mighty things which you do not know."
Oh!
Yeah, that was pretty slick.
Yeah.
It's true. That makes me think of, I always think of this verse too, or like, maybe it's a parable. It's about a guy who owns a field. Or no, he doesn't own a field, but he finds treasure in the field, sells everything he owns, buys the field. So he has the treasure, It's like, I think about that. Sometimes I think that I stumbled upon, or like I know God had it in store for us, but it feels that way. Like I found something I shouldn't have.
Like he is your treasure? Is it?
Yeah, that's the thing. He's a treasure. It's life itself.
Yeah.
That's what I love about what happened to us and being saved is like, I've always had this issue of like selling things. Like I never felt I could sell a product because I never believed in a product. And when it comes to Christ, I never feel like I have to sell him because it wasn't sold to me.
Right.
It's not something, I think we think it has to make sense. It has to be like this logical. That's not the way it was.
I don't think it was made to make sense to us right now. Like we're not supposed to know right now, and we won't know until we get to heaven. I don't think these things that we don't understand or these mysteries that we just don't get right now. But someday we will. I think.
Yeah. Someday we will.
Yeah.
That's a cool thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are hidden things. And I know the Bible says God chose to reveal things to his people. And, like, I think we're waking up in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's revealing this stuff to us as a human race.
It's time to wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why, in a way, when I think that we haven't quite seen the goodness of God, and we haven't quite realized just how his grace and his mercy, because I think he's going to save a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to have to try to not be saved in a way. Like how could you see this and not? But also I know that he is a God of justice too, and there's other sides to him. And sometimes I worry about talking about things in a certain way because I don't want to.
You feel like you're going to scare people away or something?
No, it's the opposite. It's that I would say something that God isn't. Or like highlight his amazing feelings and love, but I'm not highlighting the fact that he holds us to a standard.
Yeah.
And that
He once was the God, or he is the God of wrath, and
there's other areas.
Yeah.
And I know he's holy too.
Oh yeah.
And he's completely set apart. And sometimes I worry that I say things that are irreverent. Like I'm not. Like some things are special.
Mm-hmm.
And they're meant for special, like, in the bedroom type stuff, like
Stuff that you don't share, like, is there things that you just don't share because you feel it's so special between, like, you have these things that are just between you and God? Do you feel like you have those types of
Yeah, there's
things?
definitely, I've had maybe moments that I wouldn't share because I'd be nervous how people would take it.
Yeah.
And it would sound a little, I don't know, just make me feel a certain type of way to share it.
Exactly. Yeah, I know that all too well. There's things that I've only told God and that I'll probably never tell anyone, you know what I'm saying? Those are things that you just are special, and I think there's things that happened to me that were amazing between, that God has shown me that I think are just so personal that I like to keep to myself because that's just between me and Him.
Yeah. Yeah, they are special and personal.
Yeah.
That's cool though. How cool is that God would do that for us?
Yeah.
Have good things set apart and set in store for us.
Yeah.
Yo, Brandon, thanks for having us. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, definitely.
This has been great. Brian, thanks for joining me. Us. We're here together, dude.
Yeah.
Gotta save this together.
Definitely.
I know I pressed the record button, but we're all in this together, Like,
Definitely.
that's a cool thing.
Did you even hit record, Brute?
I hope so. I think I did.
Redo.
Run it back, dude. We'll have to do it again.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this was
Do
good.
more.
It's cool.
Yeah.
We could add a couple guys, maybe have.
Cool. Have you ever heard from Steve lately?
Steve. That's funny you mentioned Steve.
Yeah.
I talk to him all the time.
Do you?
We're coming for you, Steve.
That's right. I'm trying to get him to
What's up?
share.
We're coming for you.
I haven't talked to him in a while, and it's kind of weird because we used to talk, at least once a week, and then all of a sudden it's just like he was gone. So I don't know. That's why I asked, have you heard from him?
Where you at, Steve?
Yeah, Steve, where are you at? No, I'm believing God's going to bring us all together.
Yeah.
And I'm believing that as a whole, like, literally the people that watch and all of us, like, I think God brought us together for a reason.
Yeah.
And I know that life happens and, like, we've grown and gone separate ways, but I don't think this is, like, a surprise to God. And I think that,
It's part of his plan?
Yeah,
Yeah.
something good's coming.
Yes.
It's good coming in our future. But I mean, for today, we got good stuff coming.
Yeah, most definitely.
Is there, let's see. Is there anything you'd like to maybe share? To end this on?
I think I've shared enough.
I think you've shared enough, dude. You've done awesome.
Have I?
Yeah, it's great. Seriously, honestly. I
That's
know
good.
people will be
Thank
blessed
you.
by it, and
Yeah.
I know it's a step out of your comfort zone too. So
Definitely.
I think people will appreciate and love you for that.
Yeah.
And we love you, dude. I love you
Yeah,
both.
I love you guys too, and you guys both know that already.
I was gonna ask you earlier, like, when you said you didn't have a Bible, did they have Bibles back then, like when you was a kid?
I'm saying we didn't have a Bible in our house. I
Oh,
don't
no.
think,
Like they hadn't transcribed.
Yeah, it
them
hasn't
yet,
been
or,
written
like,
yet, or what?
You're
Was it
just
written?
trying to say I'm old. I get it.
It's older than dirt, dude.
Yeah. That's all right. Look at me now.
No.
What was it
saying.
like when God created the earth? Like, you got this
It was amazing.
What do you do on the 8th day? Yeah.
It was glorious. You should have been there.
Yeah.
Well, we weren't born until 2,000 years later.
Yeah.
So, you got us in that department.
Yeah.
All right, love you guys.
Okay,
Huh?
I love you.
Love
Cool.
you. Love you. Love you. Bye.